The countdown has begun to determine who stays in the Dutch StarCraft League and who goes home with nothing.
Yep, a little bit of revenge here for Darkomicron as well, as of course mouse control did get taken down in the team leagues to the by the guys from Lowland Lions.
Yep.
The introductions are yours, Lilian.
Thank you very much. In the top right spawn position here on Daybreak, playing for Lowland Lions, it is the Red Zerg. Give a cheer if you like this guy to win the first game. It's Jona.
Yep, it is gonna be Jona.
Alright, we can do better with that, guys. In the bottom left spawn position on Daybreak, playing for mouse control. Do you want to see him win? Give a cheer. It is Darkomicron.
I think he's the fan favorite here from the crowd that we've got alongside the desks here. So far
Definitely.
it looks like
by the looks of it.
Yeah, by the looks of it. A lot of people joining us once again to watch these games offline as well as online. Should be a very good games ahead of us as well. We see a double extractor cancel actually from Jona. A little bit awkward. I don't think that's actually more efficient unless he goes for
it's
like
a stylistic thing, really. He might have... Yeah, it can happen in situations. A lot of Korean pro gamers still do the single extracted trick.
Yep.
But a double extracted trick is not the most common thing to see. The more often you do an extracted trick, it does starts to add up a little bit in lost minerals. Even though it's only like, I don't know, like 6 or 8 or 9 minerals that you lose, it still counts. That's 2 trips a drone has to take between the minerals and his hatch to make up for that.
Yep, definitely. I remember there was one Korean player, I don't know his name though, that always did an extractor trick, and they asked him, why are you doing that? Is it actually efficient? He was like, nope, I just like doing it.
Yeah, it's a stylistic thing. Just as it can be a stylistic thing in some matchups for Protoss players to take 2 gases early and then put 2 workers in there. There's players who prefer to put 1 gas down, 3 workers in it, and a second gas a bit later, and then just put 1 or 2 workers in there.
Yep, Pylon does go down to annoy his opponent as much as possible with the probe there. Have of course a spawning pool already on the way, so the Link should be able to clean that up quite easily. Forge about halfway done, and looks very standard so far.
Yeah, very standard openers out of both players so far. Forge first is... It's funny, he could have gone for the Nexus first. He didn't really need the Forge early on, but getting the Forge early on, yeah, it's safe. It enables you to potentially go for a cannon rush if you know your opponent is not scouting, if you know your opponent's going for a hatch first. It's of course good to have that Forge down, but in this case, not going to be the most useful structure to have. Would have rather had his Nexus a minute earlier, or a few seconds earlier.
Yep, definitely. And we do see some Overlords getting in a favorable position to scout out what Darko is doing later on in the game. Can fly into the main base, into the expansion if necessary, and just see what tech route he's going for. I really like that. Good positioning so far. Third base coming up, and oh god, this is like playing Wings of Liberty all over again.
Yeah, it's a Wings of Liberty style that's still popular in Heart of the Swarm. There's a couple of different styles. You can play as Zerg, you can try to stay on one base a little bit longer, get some upgrades going, and then expand to a third base. It all depends on what the Protoss does. If the Protoss Forge expands, sure, go ahead, grab those 3 hatcheries, play like it's Wings of Liberty. But if he goes for a gateway expand build, potentially he could be putting on a lot of aggression super early on, and that way you might not be able to hold your third.
Yep, we also see Jona crossing the map a little bit with 2 Zerglings, getting the watchtowers as well, just making sure there's no proxies, etc. But he's forgetting to check that there's a, cannon rush coming to the third base. Could go up before he even notices. There's no Overlord there, there's no Zerglings there. They're roaming the other side of the map, and that could be potentially really threatening for Jona here. I don't think he's gonna find this out in time. If we check his vision, he does not see this, Lurlian.
Oh. He's being a sneaky deaky snake right now. 3 cannons even going up. He's really committing to this. Once that hatchery cancelled, actually the hatchery is going to finish now. Jona sees this, and what is he going to do in reaction? He is not doing much of anything. He's starting up more drones, starting an Overlord. He does not have enough links to deal with this. He will be losing that hatch. I think he's going to have to face the harsh reality of him losing that.
Yeah, but it was actually really funny. There was a queen walking over there. He was like, yep, I'm gonna inject that new hatchery.
No.
Oh, there's cannons. I'll go back. It's so good. It's so good. That queen being really smart about it. And we see some links at the front of the base trying to get some intel of what's going on.
Yeah. Jona now responding. 4 gases. He's like, oh man, my entire game plan is gonna fail. I need to do something drastic. So he goes ahead and takes all 4 gases, because when you're contained on two bases, you need all the gas you can get as a Zerg player to try and keep up with Protoss and re-establish that third base. Third cannon has finished up for Darkomicron. I was kind of expecting that he would cancel the third one.
Yeah, but
This turns out to be a big investment. That's 550 minerals worth of resources sitting there.
I was just gonna point that out. I mean, if the Zerg was gonna go for a 2-base play, he's actually ahead in that right now because of the investment that the Protoss had to make with those cannons. So could still make a lot of things happen. He is gonna go for Roach War and then +1. Wasn't it Jonah that did the really awkward 2v2 for Lowland Lions? I think so. I'm not 100%
No,
sure.
no. We didn't cast that. We didn't do Lowland Lions. We
Oh
did
no. Oh, it was
Knights Gaming versus Mouse
Yeah.
Control.
There we go.
Yeah, so
Mixing them up all the time.
yeah, all those Dutch teams, man, hard to keep track of. I understand. As we see +1 getting researched on the other side of the map for our TOS player, adding on 2 additional gateways. That's going to make his total go up to 3 right now, dropping a 4th and a 5th one. He is making a lot of sentries. This is the choo-choo map. This is the map that we have seen parting, I don't know, take out like 30 different Zergs with the same build. The Immortal
Really?
All-In.
Really? Ah, you mean the Immortal All-In?
Yeah.
Pretty good, and it looks like he's gonna go just for that. He is making some observers first to really get a good scout out. He already had one out, putting another one out as well. Probably gonna keep it with the army or scout out in a different section of the map. First Immortals on the way, being chrono boosted out. +1 already near finishing, and a lot of sentries gathering that energy. I think you might be completely right about this, Lurlian.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like a bit of a parting-inspired build as the Roaches come in to snipe the pylon. They're actually not focusing on the pylon, deciding to focus on the probe, so 2 Roaches will be taken out while dealing with these cannons. That is still very cost-effective way of doing it. Darkomicron might not be going for that Immortal All-In after all. Might just be a third base defended by sentries and Immortals, but it might also be a fake. That used to be a very popular thing to do as well. To fake your opponent out, dropping that Nexus, and then moving forward and warping in, I don't know, like 7 gateways worth of Stalkers.
Yep, it's either that or the Sentry Immortal all-in defend the third base strategy. Both of the things could work though. I mean, Jonah's just making his own third base, so if he makes his third base right now, I think he's going to be ahead as a Protoss perspective.
Definitely, yeah, he's in a pretty good position. He needs, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. He needs the Robotics Bay, and he drops it. The Hydra play, very dangerous on a map like this, where your third base and your natural are pretty far apart, hard to defend sometimes, and a Roach Hydra timing or a Ling Hydra timing can really kill you off. I've seen Naniwa lose to Roach Hydra timings on this map just because he took such an early third and didn't have Colossi out in time and in numbers to deal with the Hydras. Hydras are a good unit in Art of the Swarm.
Yeah, but if you don't have any area of effect, it's going to be nearly impossible to kill a large squad of Hydras because they just have that high DPS. It's the same as with Marines. They kill your stuff so fast, you don't have the reaction time to actually take it out. And it looks like he's going to go just for that. We already saw the Hydra upgrades in production and a lot of Hydras being added on right now. Yeah, I think he could still have a little window here because he doesn't have any Colossus yet. And he doesn't have range yet. There's a possibility here, I feel like.
I agree. There is a possibility, but by the build that Jonas is going for, I don't think he wants to hit the timing as much. I mean, he's getting a pretty early hive here, has to be pointed out. And his 2-2 is going to line up perfectly to go immediately into 3-3. He's taking a 4th base. He really wants to take this to the late game, where he feels maybe his strengths lie, maybe he feels the Zerg strength lies in the late game.
Yeah, but I guess when you go into that hive tech and you start adding on them Vipers, you can still take care of a few Colossus quite easily. High Templar start being a real problem though, and we do see the High Templar attack already being added right now by Darkomicron actually, so that's gonna be a really good investment for him. And from the Zerg, we see just that, some Vipers being produced.
Yeah, both players know exactly what is expected of them to be happening, and they're countering each other pretty much blindly. Some Phoenix, of course, scouting things out, have seen the hive, so that way our Protoss player knows that he's gonna need some High Templar to feed back those Vipers.
Yep, really good counter to that. Of course, you can also click on on the High Templars to drag them into your army with the abduct ability was a little bit more difficult because the Vipers are a larger unit. They're easier to select.
I'm actually not quite sure what the range is on abduct and the range on feedback. Does the Viper outrange the High Templar, or does the Templar outrange the Viper? Or do they have equal
I'm
range?
pretty sure it's the same range. The same with Snipe, right? Yep, I see the crowd nodding, so I'm gonna take their word
Usually
for
it's
it.
the Twitch stream chat that tells you things like this.
Yes.
But now we have a live crowd present here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We all know it's because of my sister also sitting in the crowd having a great knowledge about StarCraft 2, giving me all the answers secretly. Great work.
Yeah, the girls in the crowd definitely being the ones that provide us with the knowledge that we've just shared with you guys. Now, Storm is on the way. Let's get back into this as we see that Jonah is moving in. Might be wanting to deny his opponent's fourth. That's really all he's hoping to do here. I don't think he's going to commit into an attack at the third or an attack in the natural. He's just keeping his opponent on 3 bases for now.
Is that Pedo Bear?
Oh god. Not really relevant to the game, and but there is an anime convention going on
Yes.
at the same time as the StarCraft 2 game is happening. And there's someone in a big Pedo Bear costume present
Yes.
at the set.
Alright, we do see the engagement going down. And good time warps coming down as well. He is retreating back to the safety of the creep. Not doing a lot of damage right there. And getting a nice concave Jonah here. And trying to engage the Protoss where it hurts. And does actually do that. Gets a Templar as well. Some feedbacks go down. No more energy on these Vipers.
No, but only one Colossus is left standing, but still too much for Jonah to handle, or is it? He's going to go in for another attempt. The Hydra's being micro to the left pretty beautifully. Another Colossus gets hallucinated to scare his opponent a little bit, and Jonah is going to be scared enough right now to retreat. The supplies 175 for Jonah to 164. Jonah doesn't have much of a bank. It's this army. Oh, the Colossus! It could get sniped. No, it doesn't. No focus fire by Jonah there, and if he did focus fire on something, it was the hallucinated Colossus and not the real one.
Not the real one indeed. He needs some Corruptors to take down those Colossus potentially, because he's making them right now. That's definitely the goal for them. But I think he actually overreacted a little bit to the fact he didn't know that they were illusions. Thought there were more Colossus than there were actually were on the field. And still, he sees it with a creep. He sees 3 Colossus. He can't be sure.
No, he cannot be right now. He's like, oh, how scared do I have to be? How much has Darkomicron invested in Colossi? He has a second one on the field, has a third one on the way, is establishing the 4th base right now that Jonah was also hoping to deny in the late mid game here. We're really starting to go towards the late game and see those end game, all game compositions. Do we have anything like a Spire on the way yet, an Ultralisk Cavern, or is Jonah gonna stick with his Roach Hydra Viper composition?
Well, 3-3 is close to finishing for both players. They're really neck on neck with those upgrades, so nobody will have a big upgrade advantage in this game. One thing to note is that the Hydra upgrades for the range are just being added right now, so he never actually had the range of 6 during the last engagement, so it's kind of hurting him. He also has a lot of Corruptors and is engaging in a beautiful angle, but I think this might be too much, so the storms are beautifully by Darkomicron right there, taking out a lot of these Hydras and Roaches. The Colossus won't survive this fight, but I have a feeling that the Protoss should be able to clean this up.
Barely. He does lose all his high-tech units in the form of the Colossi, so Jonah doing some significant damage there, but has not been able to deny the 4th of Darkomicron. That's what he was hoping to do there. Kill his army, deny the 4th, win the game. But with this 4th base up, there's going to be a lot of Colossi back on the field pretty quickly, and Jonah knows it. He needs to start thinking about his late game follow-up, and it is going to be the Brood Lords. The Greatest Spire is on the way. He will be going into that, and of course, having a few Colossi is really good against Brood Lords, but you also need something to take out the Brood Lords in the form of Stalkers, in the form of Void Rays.
Yep, it looks like we're still going to see the ground-based composition by the Protoss for now. No crazy amount of Stargates or anything being added on. So he feels like there's a way to do some damage with Broodlords. He's also getting the upgrade for the Locust, which really surprised me. Because you usually don't see it. But on the other side, the Swarm hosts do have the 3-3 upgrades from the other units.
Yeah, they do. So that's going to be helping out a lot. We do see the Enduring Locusts is now on the way. So definitely some... Definitely.
It's going to be interesting to see what actually is going to happen here. I feel like he didn't go for the Ultra route because he saw a lot of Immortals fielded by Darko, and he already took down all of the Colossus, and he's very High Templar heavy. And I don't know if he could really make something happen with that. But I don't know if Broodlords are the right response to this though.
I don't know. We'll see. There's 8 of them on the way, so he better make it work somehow. The Stalker count is pretty alright for Darkomicron.
yeah.
He has Blink.
He has Blink as well, yeah.
And he's getting a Fleet Beacon behind this.
Alright.
We
Fleet Beacon, I like to see that.
Might see some Tempest being added on, which is of course also a great way to be dealing with them Broodlords, outranging them. Whereas Void Rays and Blink Stalkers are more of the Wings of Liberty way of dealing with Broodlords, of course. Tempest definitely taking their place. How many Stargates do we have? Only 1?
Yep, only 1 for now, but the Broodlords are engaging in a Wings of Liberty-esque style, taking down 1 Stalker quite early on. And he is gonna have to put the Roaches right under there like that, but the Storms will do a lot of damage to these Broodlords. Isn't really splitting them, taking a lot of damage. And also, the Roaches and the Hydras taking a lot of damage right now. This could be a little bit tricky. If he can take out all of the Stalkers though, he's in a really good position. It's gonna be hard.
Oh, for a second it looked like Darkomicron might have the edge there. Those Great Storms hitting so many of the Roaches and the Hydras. The Broodlord's still alive though. There's about 5 of them left in the air. Oh, the Force Fields go down. Horrible engagement for Jonah. He's gonna get taken out. His Broodlords start to fall. And Jonah needs to go back home. Ooh, what is he doing? And he's going back home. And he needs to lick his wounds.
Yep,
he's gonna switch it to Mutas. Wow.
I like this. I like this. He's making 16 Mutas. This is something that Zergs really like to do these days. Once they get a lot of gas and a lot of minerals on the bank, switch it up completely, because he had like an army that barely shot air with Roaches and with Broodlords, you know. And now he's gonna be so good against the Colossus, against the Immortals, if he can just get the Stalker count down. And then maybe he can get enough Mutas to just straight out kill the Stalkers and take all of the army down.
If this doesn't work for Jonah, he's down and out. He just invested his entire bank in the Mutas switch, and if that doesn't work, I don't know if he can hold on to this much longer. It's a risk he's taking. The Mutas are going to be very low on upgrades. Here they come.
Yep, the Mutas moving into the main base of Darkomicron. Darkomicron will get a good read on this. He's going to focus on the Stargates because he doesn't want any Phoenix coming out right now. There's also some Roaches running in, and he's actually sending most of his army to deal with the Roaches, while the middle of the map is also being attacked by Jonah by the Roaches. He's pressuring from everywhere and actually dealing a lot of damage to Darko, who's completely out of position at this point to deal with the Mutas.
Yeah, the Mutas, 5 Stalkers, even though they've got amazing upgrades, that's not gonna cut it. And Darkomicron is taking some heavy losses here. His 4th and 5th base have been attacked a little bit. The Roaches now finally getting cleaned up at the 5th base. The 4th base is secure as well. The Stalkers now chasing the Mutas out of the main base. But Jonah has definitely bought himself enough time to re-max. He's still on 5 bases. 5 bases versus 5 bases. Ideally, he would want to take the middle base out.
Yeah, but the middle base does take a lot of damage. And probes, but the army from Darko is here, and it is too scary for Jonah to engage directly. That could be a problem later on. Does lose the Mothership Core. 3 killed right there, but does lose some Queens and Hydras as well. He shouldn't lose all of these Stalkers though, because that would be actually horrible for him. He's taking a lot of fire. Even Zerglings joining the fray. Good storms by Darko, and whoa, almost.
Almost. Oh, blinking underneath the Mutas and getting a lot of them. There's only about 9 of them left. That was definitely good for Darkomicron, who is now ahead in supply. Is he going to move forward and try to punish his opponent for overcommitting there a little? There are some Spy Crawlers in position for Jonah to make that defense happen at his 4th base. The Mutas going to fly into the top left base of Darkomicron. It's completely undefended. Well, actually, there's 2 cannons there, but they're not in the best position to help defend. Stalkers being warped in. I feel that's going to be enough to defend.
Darko's had enough of this Lyrian. Look at that. He's just gonna go for it, pressuring the middle base of Jonah right now, blinking in aggressively, and he thinks he can just handle it. And to be honest, he can.
Oh wow, that look on your face there was was really funny. He can handle this right now, has enough Stalkers, and is going to take out a lot of the Mutas here. The Mutas have been reinforced though. Continuous Muta production is coming out of Jonah, but he's losing so many of them to the Stalkers. But the Stalkers on the same time taking some damage from those last 2 remaining Broodlords. Jonah now basically on a pure Muta composition. He's losing the support from his Corruptors, he's losing the support from his Broodlords. How are you going to win against this army with pure Muta? You're not.
No, you need something to add up with the Muta. He doesn't also have the upgrades for the Muta to really make it work. He's only on 1-1 against fully upgraded Stalkers. So they're not doing that much damage. They're not trading efficiently because Stalkers are of course less gas heavy. He's doing a good job of harassing with them though. Taking a lot of probes down, keeping the eco on tow with Darko. Well, in the end, he's gonna lose if he just keeps making Mutas. He needs to add something, and I don't know if Hydras are the decision to go for with the amount of High Templars and Colossus on the field.
I'm not sure any unit would be would be good right now for Jonah. I mean, if you try to go into Swarmos, for example, you're not going to get a high enough number to make it work. If you go into Broodlords, you're not going to get a high enough number to make it work. If you go into Hydra's Mutas, yeah, I guess that's one of the things he could try. But against this is an end game, late game Protoss army, perfect composition. This is everything that Darkomicron wants to have. And a Zerg army, it's lair tech.
He needs investors. No. He needs investors to fund
Infestors,
all the
Broodlords,
stalkers.
Corruptors,
Yeah, he needs
Ultras.
everything.
He needs a lot of stuff, which he doesn't have.
Because Darko has a lot of stuff as well. Look at that. He's got Tempest, Colossus, Immortals, Stalkers, High Templars. He's got a lot of stuff. And these mutas just not gonna cut it for Jonah.
No.
Trying to be annoying and also sending in some Roaches and Hydras from the top side. But I think this is all she wrote.
Yeah, that's all she wrote for Jonah. His entire army getting taken out in the middle of the map. GG. Actually, Gratz comes down.
Congrats.